Hey everybody, it's Joy Packard. Let's see, it is already 10:30 p.m. and we just got back from Mexico yesterday and had a wonderful time with our family. It was amazing, and it's really hard to come back to reality, but we are here and wanted to say a quick hello to you. And basically I've had a lot of people private messaging today and just different things on how hard it is to get back on track whenever summer is full of vacations and time with our family and doing things, and it's really hard when you come back to get back into the swing of things. So I have had a lot of people, like I say, message me with the many things that they're going through and the little struggles that they're going through, whether in their Amazon business or whatever it is that they're doing. And so, I wanted to discuss some of the things that I do to help with that, and maybe it can help you in some way. And, a lot of times we have the feeling of overwhelm. We have a lot of overwhelm in our life, and sometimes it's really, really tough, right, to get through things that we're trying to get done. And so whenever we start feeling that, we have to just go back to the basics, as I say, right? And we talk about this so much about the basics, so much of going back to what we know, going back to the drawing board, so to speak. If things are not working, then it's a great time to take a step back and begin again. And that's the wonderful thing, right? Like, if we're doing things that are not working, then the good news is that we can turn it around. And so it's really, really wonderful. Hi, Shelly, I miss you. And so, today I received this journal in the mail. I love receiving journals. And this one says, hi, Mary. It says, because I can. And it's from this one course that I love. And it's awesome because a lot of times we get really overwhelmed. I'm talking to myself, and we come home from vacation, and the vacation is wonderful. Like I say, we went to Mexico, but we have a lot of things that we have to come back to, right? Our mail, just coming back to our mail, our piles of mail, and getting back into the swing of things, and trying to figure out exactly where we want to begin as far as getting back on track. And so I'm going to probably discuss this on a podcast. And so if you are not on my podcast, it's called Joy Reveals. It's on iTunes. And if you're on an Android phone, it's on the Stitcher app. So mind mapping, I'm not sure how many of you guys do this, but it's wonderful. It really helps as far as getting organized again and feeling back on track. Do you ever feel like that? Like, especially lately, I don't know what it is, if it's just during the summer months where you feel like you're just in the zone, and then all of a sudden you kind of feel a little bit off track. And so to help with that, basically what you can do is to use mind mapping and to use your journals, and to do all your writing and things like that. And so basically, whenever you are feeling like there's many things that are on your mind, like me, and all the different things that you want to accomplish, you have to go say, all right, back from Mexico, got to get back on track. How do I begin again? And so one of the ways that can help you is to mind map. And so there's many free softwares out there. You can Google mind mapping. My favorite one to use is bubble.us. I talk about it all the time. It's free. You can do like 3 mind maps, and then you can, save it and then delete it and then start again. And so basically, in a nutshell, I know I should have a diagram to show you, but you have a central idea, or you have you, right? You have you in the circle, Joy Packard, and then you may have different ideas that you want. And so, many of you know I do Amazon, I do retreats, I do a lot of traveling. There are many things that I do, but I have virtual assistants that help me, so don't think I do it all by myself. But for you, it's like you have all your ideas, and I just talked about this at the Houston event actually a few weeks ago, and we talked about this, where you are a central idea. You have a central idea of yourself, and you have little ideas or big ideas that you want to accomplish, right? And sometimes it's really neat to see it in front of you on paper, on a diagram, somehow, to where you feel more focused. I'm not sure about you. when I see things on paper, when I see a graph or a map or something, it just helps me to feel like I am actually, you know, I can see it, right? It's almost like when you write in your journal or you write in your calendar the things that you have to accomplish, right? And so super important, super helpful when you can do that. So like I say, just Google mind map and use it, try it. There's new things that you can do that helps you to do that. And so if you have several different, and this can work not just for business, it can work with maybe some ideas that you have, like even some things that you want to accomplish around the house, or it can work with like maybe just ideas in your life that you want to accomplish. Or maybe it's like, I want to travel, I want to be able to do this, I want to have, you know, time with my family. Maybe your mind map could be, you know, a specific mind map is about your family life, and then another mind map is about your business, and that's what I have. It's really, really awesome. And so it helps you to feel focused. It helps you to feel, I guess, is a word, accomplishable, if that's even a word, to where, you know, you can see it, and then you basically, every single branch that comes out from you on that mind map, you can begin working on, right? And then you may have subcategories on that mind map. And so it just helps you to feel like you're moving forward every single day. And it has helped me so much. There's many things that help me. You know, I talk about all kinds of different ways, but this particular way, you know, I'll be heading to Vegas soon. Some of you are going. It's going to be, you know, the ASD trade show in Vegas. And one of the things that I try and do before I go is look ahead, see what vendors there are, you know, who am I going to visit with, who am I going to email them ahead of time, you know, and I'm not always perfect at that, but it's just planning ahead, right? And so mind mapping is something similar to that, right? So where we're planning ahead so that we can see the goals that we want to do. So what I usually do, like I say, is it's almost like, if you haven't listened to my podcast, there's one called The Worry List. And those of you who have watched it or listened to it, actually, it's really awesome because you really take your pen to paper and you just write down every single worry that you want to either get done or that's on your mind that you want to get done in the future, possibly, right? And you write until your pen stops writing. And you might think, man, I think my pen is going to continue to go for a while. But believe me, I mean, if my pen can stop, I know your pen can. At one point, I think I had over 100 worries. It was interesting because it was like all the way from, you know, having to take the kids to the dentist to, you know, football practice, buying jerseys or whatever, right? And so it's like we have that worry list, right? And so when we put that worry list on paper, it's kind of like our mind map, right? Whatever it is that you want to get off, it's like all internal. And your mind map is like seeing everything that's in your brain on paper, on a diagram. It's so cool. And so it's like really interesting that for me, and you know, that's whenever you see things that come to fruition, right? When you say, all right, I'm going to bring my kids to Mexico at our resort, and then you actually see it happening. It's so cool, right? It's really cool when you see your mind mapping going on, and then you start seeing those particular tasks or whatever it is that you want to accomplish coming to pass, right? And so anyway, we all go through it. I go through it usually once every quarter, but lately it just seems like it's a lot more because I have a lot of stuff that's going on. But it's like, what are some of the things that I want to do like right now, right? And maybe some of the things that you write on your mind map are things that you may not be able to get to like right now, right? Maybe there's some things that you're going to do in the future. And so basically it's not to overwhelm, it's more so to take those things and then like say, all right, I'm going to finish this before I go on to that, right? So it's like, I'm going to perfect this particular branch of my mind map. I'm going to use an example. For example, in my business, right? I do retail arbitrage, what they call it, or like where you buy low and sell high. Buy it at Walmart for $3, sell it on Amazon for 15, right? You perfect that and then you move on to another category and so on. And so I think that it's one of those things that you can use, like I say, not just for your business, but in your everyday life, right? Maybe let's just say in your family, you say, okay, I want to be able to, have this goal with my kids. Like, this is what I want to be doing. And then write down all of the different things that you have to do in order to get there, right? And if you saw my mind map for my business, it would just totally overwhelm you even more. It overwhelms my business partner. I'm like, here's my mind map. Look, this is I call it my $1 million plan, right? Because you see your business in the middle and you say, all right, these are the different branches that I'm doing, and this is what this branch can do, right? And so I have several branches, but I also have several helpers that help me, right? And so anyway, mind mapping is to not overwhelm, even though it looks like it would. It actually gives you clarity. And so that's the exciting thing, is like when you are finding yourself feeling overwhelmed and need clarity in your life, go back to mind mapping. I always go right back to it. I'm like, all right. And maybe some of it needs to be, if you're kind of like a visual where you need to kind of handwrite it first, that's okay. I do that. I put it in my journal and I'm like, okay, I'm going to transfer this to my mind map. And so mind mapping is like, it's almost like doing your worry list on a mind map, right? To where you're just typing until your branches, you just can't type anymore, right? It's pretty cool. I really encourage you and challenge you actually to do that. And you will be amazed, so that when you look at your mind map, you're like, oh my goodness, look at all these different branches that I'm accomplishing. And then it was, when you start seeing your goals start to happen, it's so super cool. And it all starts with an idea in your head, which is you in the center, right? And then all of your different ideas of what you want to do, perfecting those branches, right? And you can use this mind mapping, like, for example, my health. Maybe you want to start, like in the specific workout program, right? That might be a branch. And then you might have a specific meal plan that you're following. That's another branch, right? So you can see how mind mapping can work, not just for your business and your relationships and, your health. It's different. And maybe one central mind map will have the different categories of your life: health, relationships, financial, business, whatever, right? And then you can take those and then subdivide them, make them separate mind maps if you want to. So anyway, it's so nice to be back home. As much fun as we had in Mexico, I love coming back home. We had such a wonderful week. It was magical. And you know what? That was a goal that was on my mind map, to bring my kids. We brought them in different segments, but we brought them all at the same time. It was like a magical dream. And to see, like, here's my mind map and here's what I did to get there, right? And will you fail sometimes? Of course. Will things be overwhelming? Of course, right? You're not going to always have it smooth sailing just because you did your mind map. You're going to say, this is my mind map. And sometimes when I had that mind map, it's going to shift, right? Some of those branches are not going to be what you thought it was going to be. And that's okay, right? It's okay to fail forward and to fail fast, because the faster that we do things, instead of sitting there and thinking about it, right? How many of us just sit there and think about it and we don't, act on it because we're just thinking about it? We don't, I guess, take that first step. But it's so exciting whenever you do, whenever you actually put it to paper and you say, I'm going to try this, even if it's hard, even if it's wrong, even if I upload an image wrong on my Amazon account or on my merch account, which is a t-shirt business, right? As long as you're moving forward, right? And so, man, I'm using my hands a lot tonight. I must need to get some energy out. But anyway, so many exciting things. Like I say, it's so exciting to come back home and, realize that we are so blessed to live here in the United States, right? There's so many people that, like where we were, that were, just so unfortunate of what they're doing, and it makes you grateful for what you have. And so I leave you with that, to begin your days, begin your mornings and end your evenings with being grateful. It's so helpful to do that. It's almost like, when you do that, it just puts your heart and your mind in the best place, right? So I hope this has helped you in some way. I hope you've downloaded my podcast, Joy Reveals. It's on iTunes, like I say, the Stitcher app if you're on the Android phone. And subscribe, listen to it. I need to do another episode now that I'm back from Mexico, hopefully tomorrow. and probably be on mind mapping, but we're talking about tonight because it's just such an impact in my life on like how it helps me to do whatever I have to do, right? So I'm going to go back to my drawing board before it's getting late, or it's already 10:45 here. But anyway, lots to get caught up on. It's been awesome. Thank you for joining me. I know that you have other things that you'll be doing on your evening time, and thanks for joining here, and I hope this has helped you in some way. So take care. I'll talk to you guys soon.